Many more from Arizona were here. Some of them had to go back today. And Matt Shea from Washington and another Washington state reps, they came here because they saw something. And then maybe it was because of what we saw. We all watched when we should have moved in 1992 about Ruby Ridge. And a year later in Waco, and we sat and watched and we didn't move and take care of these things. We have got to stand, and this is what you did. We've learned from history, haven't we? We didn't want history to repeat itself here, did we? Another thing, my good friend and brother Bundy, my friend Clive, was right. The sheriffs need to take an example from these cowboys that went out there and got the cows back. You need to saddle up, you need to cowboy up, and you need to protect your people. And I want y'all to know there's some sheriffs already out here doing it. Yeah. This is not isolated. We have Sheriff Palmer in Grant County, Oregon. We have Sheriff Christopher out in Delaware. We have Sheriff Finch in Florida. We have Sheriff Clark in Milwaukee. We have sheriffs all over this country. Sheriff Brad Rogers from Elkhart County, Indiana. Oh my God. We have sheriffs that are standing and protecting. We have Sheriff DeMayo, who's done it right here in Nevada. We have Sheriff Jones, who has done it. Sheriff Amon in Idaho. Sheriff Penrod, even in California. Do you know what? We have sheriffs standing against gun control in New York. Yeah! Now, to the people of Connecticut, your state made a horrible mistake, and some of you went along with it back about 15 years ago. And you got rid of sheriffs. And there's nobody there standing for you. And they're talking about door-to-door confiscation because there's nobody there to stop it. The sheriffs aren't there to man up. Yeah, we have oath keepers trying to do it. Oh no, we'll be there. We want the elected official, just like Mr. Bundy said, the sheriffs are here to protect us. And they don't exist in Alaska or Hawaii, and they got rid of them in Connecticut. They're trying to get rid of them in Delaware, trying to get rid of them in Massachusetts. They've reduced them. They're trying to appoint them now instead of what he said. The sovereign counties elect them. We, the people, elect them. They are the ultimate protector of America. We saw quite a dichotomy here in this incident from Sheriff Gillespie. First he said, I'm not getting involved. I don't have the authority. I don't. This is what that would mean. I don't have the authority to keep my oath of office. I don't have the authority to protect and serve. I don't have the authority to keep the peace. That's the reason you were hired, Sheriff Gillespie. We've been trying to tell Sheriff Gillespie that for the last 3 years. He hasn't wanted to listen. I've dedicated my life to creating constitutional sheriffs in this country, to wake them up to the awful situation that we're in, and to remind them that they took an oath to uphold and defend, protect, and preserve the United States Constitution. We can take America back, but it's not in Washington, D.C. The place that we erect the barriers, as James Madison warned us to do, erect the barriers against the encroachments of the national authority, to disarm them, to disarm these bureaucrats, to make sure they're not coming in here and committing crimes or murder or shooting at unarmed Americans. What a travesty that would have been to have occurred here. But that we, the people, with our sheriffs, take back America, county by county, sheriff by sheriff, and state by state. Clive is absolutely correct. If the sheriff had done his job, we would have never been here. And as much as I love you, I shouldn't have got to know any of you. Stay in your areas. You must go back to your areas and your states and find someone who's a constitutional candidate to be your sheriff. Ask your sheriff if he'll be a constitutional sheriff, and don't take his word for it. Never take his word for it. Ask him what he's done to uphold and defend the Constitution in his county. Ask him if he's put the federal government on notice that he will not allow them to do this sort of thing in his county. Every sheriff today in America should let the federal government know what happened here will not happen in my county. one of our forms, just tell him to go to cspoa.org, and we have the form right there. He can sign it and send it to all of them. We've already done the work for him, okay? And my dear friends, let's remember, there's a gospel song that we have not forgotten. We cannot forget what has happened in the past in America, and we cannot forget what happened here today. This was all about God, family, and country. Right. And I praise the good Lord that no one was hurt, and that the prayers of a lot of people across this country really paid off. I want to thank Joyce Riley from the Power Hour, Sam Bushman from the Liberty Roundtable, and others who have been raising money across this country and helping with this. This has been a pretty expensive operation, and they've gone through a lot of financial hits, and we still want to back them up. And we owe everybody, first of all, we owe Randy Weaver an apology. Yeah. And we owe them an apology that we didn't get here sooner. But the federal government has got to be pushed back. And that's not going to happen in Washington, D.C. That has to happen in every county in America. Sheriff, you took the job, you swore the oath, and if any of you sheriffs continue to tell me and other people in this country, I took the federal bribes, I took the federal grants, and I'm so afraid of losing that money, so I can't do what Sheriff Mack and Clive Bundy have asked us to do. Shame on you for compromising American liberty and the liberty of your citizens because you're so afraid of losing money. How could you do that? A sheriff who is sworn to uphold and defend and protect the people in his county, willing to compromise that to keep the federal bribes. What that proves, if you're saying that, Sheriff, that those bribes are working and doing exactly what they were meant to do. Let's go. Let's get back to American ideals. Let's get back to the Constitution. Let's get the federal government in its place. Let's make the federal government irrelevant in our counties. We can start laughing at these guys. You're not going to come in these counties and do that. And finally, I want to thank Clive and his good wife, Carol, for having the courage to do something that we all have dreamed about, we've all prayed for. We've prayed for this for a long time, Clive, and you did it. And we all owe you a debt of gratitude. Thanks for standing for America. William Wallace, freedom!